Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with a Superstar. I'm your local mortgage expert and your host of Coffee with a Superstar. This show is with real estate agents for real estate agents, where I interview the best of the best in the industry so that you can hear what they're doing and how they're doing it. Each week we travel to our superstars office so that we can invite you behind the scenes of their business. And I've created this space not only to showcase my superstars' success, but also to share their success with you. Why? So they can be an inspiration for you to take your business to the next level. And so happy for my superstar this morning. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and a little bit about Andrea. Andrea Kearns, she has been selling real estate full-time since 2004, and she started with John L. Scott and then moved over to RE/MAX Metro, where we're at here this morning, where she's been for the last 12 years. Andrea consistently ranks as top producer of her office each year, and that is why I chose Andrea to be our superstar for this week. So, Andrea, let's just get right into it. I always like to ask what you contribute your success to.
I would say probably being myself. I think more than anything, everyone needs to be themselves. I connect well with people, and so I would say the majority of my business is all done by referral, which I'm very, I think, grateful for at this point in my career. When I started in the business, I was 27 and
young. That's young to start real estate.
And I was kind of like, I don't even own a home. And here I am going to sell them. But a lot of my friends were looking to buy their first home. And so they were kind of my little guinea pigs. I'm very appreciative of that. So we got to learn together. And now I would say, a lot of them are looking to move up. So they've had a couple kids. That first house is a little too small. So I've been able to help them on that side, but also along the way, have made a lot more friends, had a lot of referrals from those people, and just consistently doing a good job where people want to work with you.
Yes.
I think that as a real estate agent, people want to work with someone that they like and trust, and someone that they connect with. And so, and I think buying a home is a very stressful and nerve-wracking time. So people like to say, hey, you bought a house, who did you work with? And they say, oh, I worked with Andrea, she was great. So so it's nice to have that referral base of people referring me because they feel like I've done a good job on their transaction, which is just huge. So.
Well, and I like what you said for, whether you're a seasoned agent, industry leader yourself, or new in the industry, the space and what we're talking about here today with Andrea is going to be a benefit to you. But for a shout out for people that are new in the industry, you may say, well, gosh, I don't have any past clients and people but you heard Andrea, she started out in her career working with her friends. So I think a lot of people miss the opportunity to be able to connect with people that you already know. Andrea also talked about people want to work with people they like. They want to support you, and who better than your friends and your family members? Now, yes, hopefully you've built some trust there that they know that you're a competent person and are going to be able to serve them and have good integrity and all of those things, but who knows us better than our friends? So really, and for agents that are seasoned in the industry, I think still some of them are missing out on that opportunity of really connecting with their sphere, people that they grew up with and their family, and so have that as part of your database. Because you're missing out on a huge opportunity of people. And then also Andrea, mentioned with people introducing her and referring her to other clients of people that she's worked with. So you're kind of building that ripple effect, but you have to stay in contact and you have to be asking for that business for people to be thinking about you and for you to be top of mind, correct?
Good point. I'm working with a newer agent in the office, and she's new to even Seattle, so she's only been here a couple years, and she's same thing, like I don't know a lot of people, and I just said, getting out there doing open houses is a fantastic way of meeting people, because you're going to meet people who are just starting off. They may not have a real estate agent, and they're looking to find someone to help them. And so she's just started over the last few weeks doing open houses and really finding it great, because that's where she can really connect with people and find that common ground. So
Yes,
it's been really nice.
love that.
Yeah.
And if you're coming from another area, what you can do too, and I think agents miss this. I mean, not the best of the best in the industry, but the best of the best. There's only a percentage of them, and so everybody else is missing so much opportunity. But is if you're out of the area, think about connecting with those friends and family that you have, and connecting them with an agent that you're building a relationship with, because I think that's a huge opportunity that agents miss on. Is because you've got that referral percentage that you can get, so why not connect with a real estate agent in the area that you're from?
Yeah.
The best of the best there, and
Yep.
be able to have that platform, and then still generate some commission and income from that, right?
It's easy money to be
Yes.
able to refer over to someone else and
Yep.
say, oh yeah, my friend that lives over in, I grew up in Portland, so I've got a good friend that I grew up with who's also, she's like top 1%
Yes.
down in Portland, and so we refer back and forth, and
Yeah.
it's great. If I know a friend of mine that's looking for an agent down there, I always know,
Yeah.
reach out to her.
Huge opportunity to
vice
network
versa,
with
yeah.
each other. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great way.
So let's shift from what you credit your success to, and let's talk about challenges, because no matter what type of business you're doing, there's going to be challenges that you're going to face, and the best of the best really face challenges as opportunities, and they go head into them instead of being afraid from them. So over the last 12 months, if you were to think about a challenge, your biggest challenge that you had to deal with, and what was that, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I would say 2018 was an interesting year because we kind of had a shift, and we've talked about this before.
Yep.
And so I met with this client in April of last year, and he said to me, look, I inherited this home from my mom. I think it was the late 80s, and he grew up in this home, and he still lived in the house. And he lived there with 4 roommates, and he was looking to retire and said, this is my retirement, this house, and I need to get everything out of it that I can. And I walked in and I was like, wow, this needs a lot of work. But that's okay. You know, like you said, I like a challenge, I can do this. So we kind of talked through it, and he was like, I don't have a lot of money. I can't do a lot to the house to make it ready for sale. What's like the bare minimum I could do? So we talked about it, and I said, well, the bare minimum would be to clean it out, get it cleaned, and stage it. That would be the bare minimum. And if we did that, I really felt like at the time he could probably get $750,000, $800,000. This house was in Olympic Manor, which is in kind of North Ballard.
Okay.
And it's a planned community that was done in the 50s. And it's known for its protected views of the sound. Which is fantastic.
Huge.
Because you cannot find protected views in many places in Seattle. We always say, if someone has a view and they buy, it's like, just know it's never guaranteed, especially with the upzoning and, you know, buildings getting taller, just never can guarantee that you're going to have a view. But this is actually written in the CC&Rs, the view is protected. So that was the one thing this house had going for it. It had an astounding view of the sound. But you couldn't see the view because he had these dark curtains covering everything.
Wow. And he wouldn't take them down.
Well, I was like, okay,
take down those curtains.
Where's the view?
Yeah.
So we had to kind of open things up. The other thing it had going, not necessarily a plus in my mind, was that it had a swimming pool. It was green, but it was a swimming pool, and I was like, okay, well, we have to get the swimming pool cleaned. And if we're gonna sell it, we need to sell it in the summer, because that's when someone would buy a house with a pool. It's hard to sell in the winter with a pool. So we had set out that we would put it on the market July, August. That was kind of the plan. The other things we talked about, and I said, you know, if you do just a little bit of work, I think it will really, really shine, and it'll be worth the money. So the other things we talked about were there was carpet everywhere, ripping the carpet out, and of course, because it was built in the 50s, it had gorgeous hardwoods underneath.
Nice.
That had been protected, but they still needed to be refinished. So I said, you know, let's get the hardwoods refinished, and we need to paint the entire inside of the house. So I worked with a painter who agreed to get paid out of closing.
Okay,
which was
is unusual.
Huge. Yeah, and it was
That's
huge.
challenging.
Yes, it was huge because he didn't have the money to be able to pay for these.
Yeah.
So he had enough to pay for the hardwoods to be refinished, but didn't have enough for the paint. So I said, okay, well, I've got someone I know. I can talk to him. I've got a good relationship. We can get this worked out. So, so we were planning on getting it on the market in the summer. And lo and behold, one of the roommates decided they didn't want to move out quite yet. So we ran into an issue where the roommate did not move out till the end of August. So there went the summer time frame to sell the house. And so finally we got the guy kicked out. And next job was to get the house cleaned out of all the years of stuff that was there. So he did like a garage sale, and then the majority of it then just got donated, and then he had a big dumpster, and we dumped the rest. So then once it finally got cleaned out, we were able to get the hardwoods redone, got the whole inside repainted. I had my cleaners come in and clean it. They spent, I think, just 5 hours alone on the kitchen. Like, it was so bad.
Oh my gosh.
Got the windows cleaned. We got the yard cleaned up. He cleaned the pool, which was great. So it got on the end of September, which not the end of the world, but in 2008, we had this shift. And when did we have this shift? Oh, the summertime in September. So it was like a really, really, I'd say, challenging time to sell. Especially with a place that had a pool, and it was end of September. So long story short, we finally got it on the end of September, and then the idea was, okay, how are we going to price this house? Because it did have a lot of deferred maintenance, but man, it looked so much better once we finally got it cleaned out. So we decided to price it a little bit aggressively, and then I put an offer review date on there. And none of the houses around were doing offer review dates anymore because, you know,
the shift in the market.
Yeah, the shift in the market. You didn't really need to. But this did have a beautiful view of the sound that was protected. And I thought, you know, if someone can open up this kitchen and everything, this house could really shine. It had 3 bedrooms on the main floor, which is really highly coveted, especially for families. It's tough to find in Seattle. And so I knew I had a few good things going for it. Really good bones too. And the plumbing was all done. So it was all copper plumbing. It's like, there's some really good qualities here. We just had to get past all that. So we put it on for $900. And we thought if we could get $900, we'd be really happy. And we ended up getting $925, which was really fantastic. And we got someone who would release their earnest money sooner, which is really what my client needed because he was having trouble even paying the utility bills. So he was able to get those paid off, be able to pay for a couple of he was able to get the, because he put the hardwood floors on his credit card, so he was able to pay that off, and then we paid the painter at closing. So he ended up getting more than asking, but it was all because I think there was a little bit of a vision and someone who could say, hey, I know this is going to be a lot of work, but it's going to really pay off in the long run. And he's so happy. He ended up buying a house up in Lake Kavanaugh and is retired. And
Nice. Isn't that great in real estate to have those success stories and help somebody get from start to finish? So was there, so the outcome from that challenge, what would you, and I heard you, you know, kind of say part of it, I mean, really somebody that comes in and has a vision, and you have to be able to coach and walk your clients through, and you have to be the expert that you are. Is there anything that was the success for it? Is there anything that you think that you could have done differently to make it an easier process, or do you think that everything went, you know, as best as it could with all of the unpredictable things that were coming up?
Yeah, you know, he was kind of a nervous Nelly type seller, and so it was a lot of phone calls of him calling me and like, Andrea, I don't know what to do. You know, this person, now this guy won't move out, and you know, and he was just. My client was just like one of those really nice guys, and he was getting taken advantage of, which was really frustrating. So I feel like I was the person to help kind of keep the calm and just say, it's going to be okay. Don't worry. We'll get this done.
Yeah.
and here are the steps that we're going to do to get this done.
Sure.
And I think he really needed that because he was having a hard time trying to figure out how to get it all done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so, and I mean, everybody that's listening here today, as a real estate agent, there are clients like that. There are situations that you have with, even more so with the seller than I would imagine with the buyer, because when you're trying to sell someone's house, there's all kinds of things that can come up. And I think, advice that Andrea would have is, really lay the plan out. And again, you have to lead as the expert that you are. And if buyers or sellers are not willing to do what they need to do to be successful, you've got to let them go, because you can only help people that are going to listen to your expertise and keep that vision going. And I always say, to really understand what their why is, their own personal why, so that you can use that to drive them to do things that they need to do that they may not want to do. And that's really, giving them the why behind it, or the risk if they don't. The benefit if they do with the risk if they don't. Always a good way to navigate through. So Andrea, what about a favorite marketing tip that you would have for any of the agents that are listening today?
I would say keep in mind that marketing is like a big wheel, and there's lots of spokes on that wheel.
Yeah.
So I think in the marketing side of things, you've got to do a lot of different touches. So if you're doing like social media, I would say just keep it simple, keep it real. I think, like I mentioned before, people want to work with agents that they like, trust, and know. And even through social media, I think that you can really portray who you are as a person.
Yes.
So don't forget to include that. Don't be all business all the time. Show the personal side of your life, because people want to know that. They want to know, who am I working with? I'm not just Andrea Kearns who does real estate all the time.
Yeah.
I'm married. I have 2 boys. I have a dog. I have a life outside of what I do. I do love what I do, but I can't do it all the time, and I need to have those mental breaks. So I think that is something that some people, I think, forget, or they try to just be all business. So I would just say, don't keep with just one thing, and I'd say just be yourself more than anything else.
Yeah, and that's a really great tip, is being your authentic self, being real, and then also being able to tie that into your marketing. So how can you bring into your marketing plan who you are, so that they can get to know you? Just like you said, they're going to work with people that they like and they trust, and also really be strategic on who you're targeting after. I mean, if you're a mom with young kids, how great to be working and associating in that group where there's other mothers, professional mothers with young kids. And you always say, if you're a golfer, go out and build relationships with people that are out on the golf course. And so if you're really into your faith, building relationships and business opportunities through that. And I think sometimes people forget, again, we talked about earlier, in taking advantage of your personal space and where you're at, and using that to be able to leverage and market your business. And I like to, Andrea, how you mentioned with all the different spokes, because there is so many different marketing ideas out there. And I think if people, and I use the example of an oak tree, you can hit an oak tree 1,000 times in 1,000 different spots, and what's going to happen? Absolutely nothing. But if you hit an oak tree 1,000 times in the exact same spot, it's guaranteed you're going to take that tree down. But you have to find a spot. You got to decide on where you're going to hit. You do have to have these touch points that are going through that. But whether you're really going to do a lot on social media, or if you're going to pick a neighborhood that you're going to target, stick with that neighborhood so you can give enough time for it to actually see the fruits of your labor there. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I would say another thing that you're talking made me think of was when I was pregnant with my first son. It was 2010, 2011.
Okay.
So a little bit different market. It was kind of slow and kind of coming back a bit.
Trying,
to say the least. But I ended up going to a prenatal yoga class, and I really enjoyed doing that on Tuesday mornings. And lo and behold, I made some amazing connections at this yoga class. I ended up becoming good friends with these women, and they are lifelong clients and friends of mine.
Yes.
So I had three transactions done off of that. And it was women who were, they're expanding their households, and it was either they wanted to buy their first house or they needed to do a move-up house or whatever. And so you just never know. I think when you do what you love, I feel like the business kind of follows.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And talking with Vernon, and I can't help but bring this into this space. And I've actually, because I talk a lot with real estate agents through my coaching program, which there will be a link, by the way, in this Facebook post if you'd like to get more information on it. About marketing ideas, game changer marketing ideas, getting connected with the right people. And I think in real estate, you don't see as much B2B partnerships to where you're building strategically business partnerships with another business professional that can support you. And we've mentioned a little bit today, and I want to go back to that with real estate agents in other markets and areas, because it's interesting here in Seattle that there are agents that only work the east side. They will not cross the bridge.
Yeah.
And there are agents that work Seattle, they will not cross the bridge.
Correct.
And most of those agents are agents like yourself that are producing at a high level. Not all agents producing at a high level don't work both sides.
Yeah.
But the ones that do, you can find those and build those relationships with those. Get some fun things, again, finding ones that connect to what you do personally, like, again, the ones that are mothers with kids.
Yeah,
and, so much opportunity to be able to connect business to business and build those relationships.
Yeah.
Because what if you had an agent over, Andrea, you're in Seattle. What if you had a 1 percentile over on the east side that didn't come over to Seattle? You guys are neighbors.
Right.
But you're not.
Exactly.
And they, of course, have clients that want to buy over here.
Yeah.
So there's just so many creative ways to strategically get yourself connected with people that you know can support you, and you can support them.
Totally.
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, suggestion to real estate agents that are listening to our conversation today, Andrea, that they're just really motivated and inspired listening to you, that this is it. I'm ready now to do what I really wanted to do for my business and take it to the next level. What is a call to action that you would give them? What is the most important thing they need to do today when we drop off this Facebook Live interview?
I'd say don't stop learning. I'd say constantly push yourself. Continue to take classes, continue to read books, because I feel like I always grow when I take a class or I read a book. And you can take little pieces, little nuggets of information out of all of those and hopefully apply them to your business. I enjoy taking classes. I think I don't know, maybe I'm one of the few, but every year or every 2 years we have to renew our clock hours. And there's always those agents that are like scrambling because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have my 30 hours. I'm the type that I've already done my 30 hours because I like to be able to take classes that interest me, so that I don't have to stress when the time comes for my renewal, that I don't have the hours that I need. So I try to get in at least a class a month, even in the busy times, because I feel like it keeps me focused and it keeps me motivated. So I would say that's my big thing. Don't stop learning. And the great thing with real estate is that I feel like every transaction I learn something new. Even after being in the business 15 years, there will always be something that comes up that's never happened before. And you're like, how do I handle this? What do I do? So don't be afraid to ask other agents or, go and find the answer, because you just never know what you're going to learn and be a better person because of it.
Yeah, and that's such great advice, because anybody that is a 1 percentile in any industry, they are learners. And so I hope that you continue watching Copy with a Superstar, because the agents that I'm interviewing are the best of the best. So obviously they're doing something right, and you can learn every day or every Monday from 11 to 11:30. Plus, be cautious, and I've mentioned this before, be really careful of who you're observing and the information that you're taking in, because you really want to get advice from the best of the best, because those are the ones that are already doing it. Time block in your day when you're going to educate. We all have our drive time. And there's tons of ways that you can really efficiently learn by audible books and getting motivated and inspired in your drive. So find those times that you can really get it educated and search out for new things. And I like it too, when something challenging comes up, is talk with other agents and find out what they've done in that process, and then learn from that experience so that you can add that to your tool belt.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one other thing that I was just thinking of as we were sitting here, everyone eats and everyone has lunch, and I found that making a lunch date sometimes it's difficult every day of the week, but even like 2-3 times a week, contact a past client or a friend of yours or someone that you haven't connected with in a while or whatever it may be, and schedule lunch with them and get them on the calendar and schedule them out, because everyone needs to eat. And it's a great time to again connect with your sphere. And you never know where it can lead, but I guess I'm an extrovert, so I enjoy spending time with people. And so I enjoy those lunches to be able to sit down and connect with someone and hear how everything's going, what's going on in life, and how's the house.
Love that. So. It is a contact sport. It's all about getting connected and staying. And depending on what your finances are, I think if you can, if you've got the resources, or maybe you can just get like a buffet or something, do a once a month lunch gathering where you bring, bring your clients together. And I'm really big about group things, because I like to create spaces to where you can bring people together and create that masterminding and that networking, and just see people building relationships out of the platform that you've created. So, great advice. Get out there. You got to eat. You got to have your coffee. Well, this is the only time I actually have coffee, and it's hot tea, by the way. But coffee with a superstar. I wanted to rock coffee, but you know what that is for you, whatever it is, and why do it alone? Instead, connect with somebody. So as we're wrapping up our time here, we've got a little bit less than 5 minutes. A favorite book or motivational speaker or coach, who inspires you that you're reaching out and getting some of that great information from?
When I first started in the business, I really followed the Brian Buffini way of doing things.
All by
and
referral.
I still, and it's all by referral. And I still really enjoy the things that he has to say, and the systems that you can incorporate in your business to kind of take it to the next level. Which I think even as a seasoned agent is a good reminder. It's one of those things that you can always revisit and go, hey, you don't want to be stale and kind of do the same thing over and over. You want to keep changing it and making sure you're pushing forward and taking your business to where it needs to go. So I would say I always thought Buffini was excellent, and so I tout him. There's a book that I really enjoyed reading. It's called 3 Feet from Gold. Do you know that one?
I've heard of it, and I haven't. It's on my list. I haven't read it yet. Yes.
It's really fascinating, because it's
so close.
Yeah, it talks about just like having perseverance and keeping at something. There was this guy who, back in the day, the gold rush, bought this land, and it was said to have gold, a gold vein in it. And so he was digging everywhere, digging. He never found it. He died, and it was just kind of like a sad story. Someone took over that area and dug in a spot that he hadn't. It was 3 feet from where he was digging. And lo and behold, there was this major gold vein. And the guy, was an instant millionaire. So it's an interesting story about not giving up, and you never really can succeed until you know that you've given it, a full try. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a really good motivational book to kind of put in your toolkit.
It is. And I'll put a snippet. I'll have Victoria on the post add a video that I share in my burn. It's something that I personally share, but I talk about our stadium. So I won't take up time today, but I'll make a video of what I call our stadium, and not to leave your stadium until you win. So I'll have that tagged in here today. And I want to go back to Brian Buffini, because Brian Buffini, yes, he's the core of success. And if you work based on, you've got Brian Buffini, which is all about relationships, and then you have Mike Ferry, which is all about the hardcore sales. So decide who you are. You're either hardcore sale, you're about relationships. But I want to give a shout out for Brian Buffini, because I do a gift of the month, which actually I've never coached with Brian Buffini, but I know a lot of his stuff, and I've worked with a lot of agents that have, and he talks about pop buys.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he inspired me for my gift of the month, and I thought, well, I can't pop buy. I mean, I don't have time to pop buy.
Right.
But I could get like a pop in.
Right.
So we started our gift of the month, which you know about because you're on the list for the gift of the month, but it's for real estate agents, and depending on what category you're on in my database, the first Monday of every month, an email comes out, and the first 20 that grab it get the gift of the month. And so we used to have agents come by the office to pick it up. Now we just mail it to you to make it easier. But anyway, so you really get inspired and come up with new marketing ideas and listening to people that have already done it. So well, Andrea, thank you so much for being my coffee star with a superstar this week. It was a lot of fun.
Honored to be a part of it. So thank you so
deserving.
much.
So deserving
so
of
nice.
it. Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to all of you that are here live listening. I know that there's going to be a lot that are going to come back after the live show because we see that with the view posts that we get. And I just really appreciate you being here and listening to our superstar. And again, just a why behind it is for them to be an inspiration because we're all inspired by other people. And just helping you to be inspired by this moment to take your business to the next level so you can take your life to the next level. So this is Tina Mitchell, your host of Coffee with a Superstar, signing off for today. But we will be here same time next week, 11 on Monday, but a different location, so you'll have to wait and see where that's at. Check out the link for my coaching program. It does have 15 clock hours available, so if you are struggling for clock hours, you can get signed up. We're going to be starting our next week of the 8-week virtual online course in 2 weeks from today, I believe it is. So thanks a lot, you guys, and thanks again, Andrea.
Thank you.
Cheers to your
Cheers.
success.
Thank you.